Hello and welcome back to my channel. So today we're going to go through how much it cost me for the first month to live in Chiang Mai. And just to warn you, if you think I'm going to say it was less than £1,000 or less than $1,000, you're going to be a little bit disappointed. Yeah, I'm a little bit shocked really. Well, maybe. Let's see how we get on. So I will go through the prices in pounds UK because I'm from England, but I will put the prices below in baht, UK, US dollar and Australian dollar. And then we'll add everything up at the end, so you have the totals. I'm not going to sugarcoat any of this. I'm just going to tell you what it cost me in the first month. True costs. So let's start. Right, I might need to use my reading glasses now and again. So rent. So my rent here, which included all my utilities and my Wi-Fi, was $660 for the month. And I know a lot of people are going to say, oh, that's a lot to pay for Thailand. Yeah, maybe, but this was the apartment I found. I've been very happy here. I've been very comfortable here. I'm not interested. I don't want to live in a hotel room or a dormitory. Now I know people do that and they're happy with that and that's fine. That's just not what I want to do. I did not leave the UK to, you know, live in a dormitory. So yeah, I paid more than perhaps a lot of people would have done. But I don't actually think it's that bad. Groceries. Well, we went through one of my grocery shopping sprees last week, I think. But for that entire month, it cost me £304. Now, I know that's a lot. I mean, it's still cheaper than I would have overall paid in the UK, but I know that that is a lot, and I can reduce that. And I think there's a lot of things I can to reduce this. I could go to some of the bigger supermarkets. I've been going to one because of my injury. It's just easier for me to just go to this one. Also, if I was more mobile, I would definitely have gone to markets to buy most of my stuff and some of the more smaller mom and pop shops. So I would have explored more. So I can live with that. If that's what it cost me, £304. But hopefully, as I get back to my normal self more, we'll be able to bring that down. Now, eating out, I ate out 5 or 6 times in the month, and I had a few takeouts. I think if I'd have been more mobile, I probably would have eaten out more. I also had like 2 free, well, they weren't free because I paid with them as part of my trip. So I had 2 trips to Ping River and to the Elephant Park, and I got meals there. So yeah, I mean, but I paid for them obviously within the tour thing. So my total eating out bill, including takeouts, was £71. That's still a lot cheaper than the UK. If I'd have eaten out in the UK, that's probably what, 3 times, if that. I nearly forgot transport for the month. £36 and 2 pence. That's not bad because I've taken a lot of grab taxis, and on average they cost me about £1.70 a ride. That's not bad at all, is it? And a lot cheaper than owning a car. I mean, I obviously would have walked if I could have, but there we go. Entertainment. So in entertainment, I'm going to put things like when I go on trips. So my entertainment budget included the river cruise, the Elephant Nature Park, and fees I was paying to go to the temples when I first arrived. And the total I paid this month was £73. My travel, medical insurance, which you have to include all the time, I actually had to pay for it up front because of the one I got, but averaged out over the term of the policy, it's £97 a month. My UK phone, which I have to keep, so I keep my eSIM for the UK because I need it to do any of my banking because that's the phone number on there. to log on to any of my tax accounts. And for many other things, I need it for authentication, so I have to keep that. But that cost me £12 a month. And for a local eSIM, I did go with an eSIM. I don't know why I just didn't go with a local SIM, but I went with an eSIM, and that cost me £20 for the month. But that could have been a lot less because I got far too much data, and I actually used less than 5 is it gigabytes? I think I paid for 50 or something. So that's going to be a lot cheaper going forward. Now I know I don't use that much data. And actually, when I am out, I'm using my phone quite a lot because I'm always on there for Grab. I'm always using Maps and I'm using Translate. So, yeah, but I don't need that much data. Personal care. So this was a few massages and the hairdressers, and we all know the hairdressers was only £4.60, but I had to give it a tip, so it was about £6 with the tip. But those altogether came to £78, and I don't mind paying them because I had a little bit of pampering and I needed it. And subscriptions for the month. So my Netflix, I do pay for some Adobe and some other small subscriptions, and they came to £27 a month. So the total I spent, now just the living in Chiang Mai was £1,378 for the month. If I'd have been living in the UK and assuming nothing had gone wrong with my car or my house and I didn't have any additional expenses there, my average spend would have been just under 1,100. So it's not cost me that much more to be here. But like I said, there's a lot of things I could cut costs on, like the eSIM, but the groceries is the main thing. And as I get used to being in Southeast Asia, I'm sure we'll start cutting things back. And I know a lot of you will say I could have cut my rent as well. Now, my rent in Kuala Lumpur is actually a little bit more than it is here, but then the rest of Asia, it goes down a bit. So my budget is, as you know, 2,000 a month. And so sometimes I'm going to be spending more and sometimes I'm going to be spending less. Now, although that was what I spent on living in Chiang Mai, there are other costs we need to add in for this month, and one of them is hospital costs, because I went to Chiang Mai Ram Hospital a few times to see the doctor and had physiotherapy and medications and brace for my knee, and the total cost that I paid there for the month was £205. So if you add that into the pot, what it actually cost me to live in Chiang Mai was £1,583. But this month I also had flight costs. So I had my flight from the UK to Chiang Mai, which is going to be my biggest flight costs I think this year, and that was $439, which is a good price for a flight, an international flight, and that did include luggage, and it was a good flight actually. But still, I need to add it in. That was a cost that's got to come out of my budget. It just, it doesn't come out of thin air. So there's that. And also, I had vaccines in the UK, which weren't covered by the NHS, and that cost me a massive chunk, 426. So actually, what I spent this month on travelling was £2,448. So I am over my budget. So I'm going to have to make sure I do cut back on the months coming up to average it out back down to less than 2,000. 2,000 is my max to spend. Much more than that, I'm going to really struggle because I don't want to dip into my capital on stuff. So anyway, that's what it is. So I told you, I'm not going to sugarcoat this to you. I'm going to tell you as it is. So, I think this is very new to me. So coming here thinking I was going to be living on £600 a month, I think would have been completely unrealistic, because I've got to learn the ropes and, learn my way around. But I think as we get used to it, we'll be able to reduce those costs a bit. And I think if you take the flights and the UK vaccines cost off, I'm not terribly unhappy with what I've spent just being here. Considering what I would have spent in the UK, it's not, what is it? 300, and then the hospital 400, 420 more. You know, the hospital's half of that. Anyway, that's what it is. Hope you found that interesting. So we'll be, next time I do a cost of living, we'll wait till we've been in Malaysia for the first month, and then we'll do a cost there and see if I'm doing any better with keeping them down. Thanks for watching. Take care. See you all soon. Ciao.